Dear friends, I'm glad to see you. It is 10 p.m. Wednesday, the 13th of April. We're doing Feigin Live, second live today. Day 49. This time it's Alexey Arestovych in the studio. Glad to see you. Likewise. I need to remind you that if you have not subscribed to Feigin Live yet, about 50% of you are watching us without the subscription, so please do that. Leave a bell so you get notes about our new videos, and the same thing with Alexey Arestovych. If you're listening to that in English, please subscribe to Privateer Station. Also click the bell so you get the updates. Alexey, all right. So let's start. Okay. Let's go back to Medvedchuk. What happened during the last 24 hours? President Zelensky made a statement that he is ready to exchange this person. Moscow is either barking back via Medvedev or uses subtle channels to refuse. So, as we understand, he was taken in Ukraine, not anywhere near Ukraine. Somebody mentioned that he was going to cross in Pridnestrovia to Moldova, but I cannot go into too many details, but we have taken him. We got the information from his guard today that police who were on duty actually helped to take him away. And he did mention another thing that was very peculiar, that Medvedchuk, when he called his wife before leaving, he said that FSB has already resolved everything and he'll be safe soon. So we'll see. I hope this audio will be released. Otherwise, it'll be just added to the investigation materials. On our side, we just keep hearing his wife's complaints that the poor guy, 66 years old, you're torturing him. No, he was just captured. So on your side, what is going to happen with maybe exchange? Well, we are a country that follows laws, so first we'll interrogate him and try to ask him all the questions that we have. And looking at the way Medvedev, Volodin, and the others are reacting to his imprisonment. Their main point is that there is nothing special about him. Why do we need him? He could have been the citizen of 5 more countries, not just Russia. There is nothing special for us. So subtly that tells that they're trying to drop the price for him, for his exchange. Because his guard did mention that he overheard that FSB is taking care of it on the highest level, that Putin is involved. So let's see what can we exchange him for, if that is even an option. This is an important piece of news. Many people worry about the destinies of captured Ukrainian soldiers. And even now that he probably means a bit less than he was before, when he was funneling Kremlin's money, he's still pretty important. Yeah, but they're somewhat a gang psychology. So, although they're saying that he is not valuable, they do need to do something to extradite him from Ukraine. likely they will go forward with exchange, but I think they're really pushing down the price now, negotiating, and also waiting for the moment that'll be more opportune when he drops off the daily raider. Also, another piece of news, I need to say that some of the Marines in Mariupol were captured. Some went to join Azov, another decided to break through in a different direction. There was 1,000 or less of them. Oh yeah, no, not even 1,000. There were way less than that. So that part that went on its own, not to unite with Azov, they got hit by artillery and lost some people and surrendered. So they were captured. The other part, they actually recorded a video, right? Yeah, they recorded a video with one commander and the other commander. It was a bit emotional, but they joined together and they're ready to continue their fight. All right, so that is clear too. Then the next question about that city, Mariupol again. So there is a reserve there, right? So speaking of that reserve, imagine you have 100 fighters and then additional 50 come join them. What happens then? Of course, there are more people than 100 there and not a 50, but, just for comparison, if more people come, they can increase the perimeter and the area of the city they control. They can actually get a little more sleep, get more rest, and they potentially get additional feature that they can use these new people who arrived to maybe pull on some special ops on the enemy. So overall, the defense of Mariupol is actually became stronger for Ukraine. Well, let's hope. That's a difficult subject. It was not an easy maneuver. They went for 2 days because they needed to go around the enemy's positions, and they're also carrying some wounded, and Azov provided some cover, so at the end they managed to join their forces. I see our numbers are growing. People watching us, please do not forget to share the links. And I actually get a lot of notes. People are watching us from the front, from the trenches, from all over the world. This is additional way to support us all. I don't know if you heard that or if other people heard that, but there was something with the flagship Moscow. I see people are writing about it. Yeah, I'll be careful. I'll say it is really burning. There is a heavy fire there and also rough seas, and things have happened. Maybe somebody smoked in the wrong place, maybe they did something improper with safety measures. And where is it right now? It's in the basin of the Black Sea. This is, I want to say, this is actually the ship that was told to go F off. That was that ship that attacked that border island. You know, that old military joke worked. That, of course, the Earth is round, but it has a shape of a bag, and people do meet in the corners. You know, it's kind of a Soviet time saying, yeah, it is, but in military, things are more compressed. And I've often told my friends who were pissed at some higher management and stuff that, remember, Earth is round, but it has the shape of a suitcase. So there'll be time when those people that really pissed you off now, their destiny will be in your hands. Just give time. I have a feeling that this also works not just in army, but in many other places. Yeah, it's just more pronounced in military and during times of war. All right, that is very good news. Next question is about Kharkov. What is happening there? I know people are upset and tired of discussing Kharkov, but even some Western sources are publishing that Russians are allocating some troops near Kharkov. At the same time, they're saying that there was a column that was destroyed while crossing the river on the pontoon bridge. We destroyed some of them, and there were 40 vehicles. Somebody said 1,000, but no, there was less than that. But we did provide artillery fire on one of the pontoon bridges that they built to try to provide for crossing. On Kharkov, I do need to say and reiterate again, there'll be no surrender, no capture, no capture operation of Kharkov. We would want to tell people what to do, to leave or to stay. Everybody needs to decide to stay or to go. That's their own decision. There will be continuous bombardment and provocations around Kharkov for the only reason that we keep our soldiers, our forces near Kharkov, and that we do not throw them to cut off one of the tentacles in the north. So there'll be some stuff happening there, but the capture of the city is not an option. They do not have resources. And those who live there, if they need to make a decision, talk to the mayor, talk to the administration, and figure it out. And what about that zone on the eastern, near the eastern front? Yeah, this area is recommended to leave for civil citizens because this is in the reach of both aviation, artillery, and it's a theater of heavy action. So if you can leave that area, please leave. This is a different case. Of course, each has to decide for themselves. A very peculiar statement from Zaharava, representative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia. She is saying that same provocations as in Bucha, Ukraine is preparing on 2 other villages in Sumska Oblast. And the thing is, we have not even made these statements, or we're not ready to make that statement. We're still demining and getting a hold of this, recapturing these settlements, these villages, but they kind of doing a proactive step saying that's what you'll find there. So it seems like they are aware that they've done more crimes in the area. It appears their tactic, since you'll uncover these things anyway. Yeah, it is their tactic. And what about that statement by Podolyak that mobile crematorium near Mariupol Russians are using to incinerate the remnants of civilians? We have data that they are attempting to destroy the bodies of people who were tortured, who were executed. Today also we got news from Kherson that 7 people were executed there. So they've been violating a lot of things there. They were being animals in many places, but in some places, those 7, they were actually looking for anti-terrorist operation people who were involved in the military campaign 8 years ago. We'll see if it is their politics or just an episode. I have 2 more news that are worth mentioning. Our main investigation department is telling our news about Russian mobilization. And that's what they said, that detachment of Russian forces that had experience in Syria have refused to participate in Ukraine's special operation completely because they've lost about 30% of their troops in the first week of their engagement in Ukraine, and they refuse to continue. And another one is about recruiting to the army of Russian Federation in Yekaterinburg. Even for the conversation about concluding the contract, not even signing it or not even going there, less than 1% of citizens who were contacted agreed to talk about possible contract. Out of 300, only 2 of them agreed to talk. The rest either did not communicate or provided other reasons for not participating in it. Among those that were recently mobilized into the Ukraine operation, about a month ago, 2 buses of them were sent to Aidar Hospital, and doctor's statement is that most of them are self-inflicted gunshot wounds. That actually happened on the 7th of March. So, yeah, they're basically refusing to participate in active action. We had this information a bit earlier, just decided to give it out now. Another interesting signal in Melitopol from March 20th to today, Russia lost about 70 servicemen patrolling the city at night. The reasons being gunshot wounds and knife wounds. That's speaking of Russians saying there is no partisan capability in Ukraine and the south. So they're slowly being murdered. Not murdered. In the military operations, they're being destroyed. So yeah, piecemeal, step by step, they're getting destroyed at night in the occupied cities. So that's reasonable when you see people refusing to serve in the army. That's, after these news, that's very reasonable to not go. Not only you're going to occupy territories, but you're also getting murdered there. And I also get the similar news mostly from the central Russia. Predominantly Russian ethnic population is refusing to fight. That's why among the new conscripts there are a lot of people from Asian part, Buryats, and Siberians and other people. Because Russians are refusing more and more. Different reasons, but I also got note from Moscow municipal deputies that conscription in Moscow is super weak. Again, Moscow is a special city. People born in Moscow and live in Moscow not to serve in the army. So there they have a horrible deficit of new guys to serve in the army. They don't have enough forces to try to search for them and catch them, the ones they have on their lists. So they're basically reporting that they're going to miss the mark by a lot. All right, let's go to a different subject. We heard that the West is sending you more weapons. There are some videos showing online weapons going through Poland, through Slovakia. Your old phrase, this is all conversational. Until I see stuff on the battlefield, I'm not believing it. So right now we actually are seeing some of the hardware moving. Can we say that the West did make a decision to provide heavy armaments? Can we expect that they'll be there in a week, 2? It is a bit hard to judge when the equipment will be on the battlefield, but after a few weeks, cautiously saying, we likely will have some. And in Pentagon, they made a decision. In Britain, they made a decision. There was a famous video conference between the Pentagon head and Ukraine military. Putin at the same time is stating that he will continue with the operation, he'll change some of the military command, and they'll finalize their goals. At the same time, on the West, they're giving us, or saying they're giving us weapons that will allow us to hit their airplanes and their on their airfields. So these are the systems similar to Hurricane, to Smerch and Grad. Reactive system. It's based on Bradley. And it was converted from shooting a set of smaller rockets to shooting more precise one or two that are hitting with a precision of 5 to 10 meters. That is a similar thing that we tried to create with our missile Alha, that goes rather far and is very precise and has a good warhead. So that is what they're discussing now, and this weapon, depending upon when it arrives, might change the balance of power. How long do you think it'll take them to deliver it to you? From America, or do you think they have it in Europe? It's a bit hard to gauge. At the time, there was Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement saying that if we see these armaments coming into Ukraine, we'll consider them military targets and we'll destroy them en route. And now we have Sweden and Finland also willing to go to join NATO, so Russian army is said to have sent some equipment to the border with Finland, some ballistic missiles, some Iskanders. So it does appear that Ukraine war is not enough for Putin, and he is playing around on the northern front. Do you think he'll do? Or he's just trying to scare people up in the north? That'll be a bit of suicidal, but as one colonel that I knew told me back in the 90s, remember, Russian army is one of the hugest smoke and mirror machines in the world. So what does need to happen till we say the weapon is going? It's a difficult signal to interpret. So whenever we actually see it on the battlefield, that's when it'll be safe to say, yeah, it's going. All right. European news. Steinmeier was refused a visa to Kiev. He was a friend with Putin. So, officially or not, Zelensky appeared to have said that let's have Stolz, let's not have this guy. And we don't know if that's right. What do you say? Or do whatever to make sure they give you weapons? Steinmeier himself says that is how it happened. I cannot disprove things because there is Steinmeier himself that's making a statement. I can only say that President does not make these decisions about meeting or not with people without detailed analysis of situation. When I met him a couple years ago, I was surprised that he is actually making decisions by a method of scientific analysis. He gathers people very often with different points of view and listens to what they say, and then makes that decision. So I suspect he had information from special services, and he did not make it on a whim. If there was such a refusal, it would have to have some very serious background for that, because this is not a case of emotion. Personally, I don't see there should be much upset about him not coming. At the same time, Minister of Foreign Affairs and some other people in the government there tweeted at least twice, 2 other tweets later the day, that the decision to supply heavy armament was taken, so nothing will change that, right? Yeah, they did have a vote. I think it was in Bundestag or somewhere. I'm trying to remember. But as far as I remember, they did vote. And yeah, they just have to follow the vote. I need to clarify, yeah, it's either some German committee, higher level, or some European Commission. But yeah, there was that vote, so the decision is made. All right. I'm skeptical about another thing. I'm thinking Putin will try to pretend to wage this war until somebody steps on his throat and really stops him. Because for us, it does look like he is either trying to send a message to the West that he's still capable, or maybe address a message internally to Kadyrov, to Peskov, and other parties of power within Russia. So, any comments regarding that and negotiations? Because speaking of Istanbul negotiations, they did send things to Russia as a proposal and stuff. I would suggest you write livecast with Mikhail Podolyak. Oh, he's enough online, so I want your position on this. All right, I'll cite, Misha, that negotiations are going not easy, and Russian side likes playing dirty and throwing things in the public sphere, trying to influence the flow of negotiations, while our delegation does not do that. So Russia is very active, trying to play different angles, which is kind of shady for a great country that Kremlin plays to pretend they are. It's hard to compare them, such behavior with somebody. I keep coming with the same comparison to some Petersburg gangs and their style of behavior. I want to tell you that in Petersburg gang scenario, those people who are faking it, they'll probably be dead first. So yeah, well, that's my observation. They're not doing it right. We have 311,000 people watching us live. We've been for about half an hour. Do you have any time? Let's ask one more question. Okay. One more note. Again, people, please subscribe to Feigin Live, to Arestovych channel, and if you're listening to that in English, to Privateer Station. There are other videos on both channels, so if you have any curiosity about related matters to this war, there's a lot of interviews there. So Konashenkov, Russian defense minister speaker, put a statement that might hit Kiev as a response to that incident with flagship Moscow in the Black Sea. Do you think such a statement has any weight? Well, Kiev is already dusting itself off, has foreign delegates and prime ministers. Today we had Polish delegation with Andrzej Duda, President of Latvia, leader of Estonia. And they were here. They did not go to Bucha. They went to Borodyanka. So Duda was there himself, wanted to witness things. Do you think this is done for what? This is another information distraction? Or do you think they can shoot a missile? Oh, of course they can shoot. I am not surprised. I would even make sure that I'd make a point they likely will shoot a day before we sign some final agreement. So chances are they'll try to hit maybe office of a president, our Congress, or highest court, or any of the government buildings. What can I say? I mean, let them do that. We'll see. I want to say that for every shot at our government, at our control, we do have equipment to retaliate and do the same thing in Russia. We're not escalating it yet, and we're holding ourselves, but we totally have the capability to strike back. All right, about 329,000 watching us live. This is a huge number, probably one of the highest so far. And great thanks to Alexey as he continues to come to our casts live. Tomorrow is 50th day, right? It's sort of an anniversary. Amazing. Time flies. So yeah, come tomorrow. We'll have a 50th day tomorrow, same time. We'll talk again, briefly, but I hope very informative. Thank you, and goodbye.